This video was created during the 2023 WGA and SAG strikes. Without the labor of the writers and actors currently on strike, Ahsoka wouldn't exist. Learn more about the strike at the link in the description. The end of the fourth episode of Ahsoka took us someplace I've been hoping to see since the series was announced, the world between worlds. It first appeared in Star Wars Rebels, but if you haven't watched that series, you will have no idea what it's all about, so allow me to explain it to you. It's basically a mystical realm within the Force that exists outside of time and space. In Star Wars Rebels, Ezra travels there through a magical portal on the planet Lothal. Inside, he hears voices from the past, present, and future. He eventually comes to a portal that leads to Malachor, where he had been before with Ahsoka, but she forced him to leave her behind while she dueled Darth Vader. Now Ezra could see the duel for himself, and he was able to reach into the past and save Ahsoka from a killing blow. That has understandably led Star Wars fans to wonder what that means for time travel in this universe. Is it possible? Technically, yes, I think it is. We have straight up seen Ezra stick his hand through time, but as far as I understand the rules of this place, I don't think it's possible to change the past. Ahsoka never died in the timeline. From her perspective, she saw the Malachor temple doors close on Ezra, and then moments later, she was saved by an older version of that same person. She always survived that fight. Nothing was changed. Later on in the same episode, Ezra is presented with a possible chance to save the life of his master, Kanan. Ahsoka convinces him that it's not possible because if Ezra pulled Kanan to safety, it would have meant the deaths of everyone he was trying to save. So again, even though Ezra was presented with the choice to save Kanan's life, we know it's impossible because we as the audience already saw him die. I also think there is an added level to that vision. The Emperor wanted to get into the world between worlds, and he offered up that temptation to Ezra. The portal has some Sith iconography around it, and once Ezra denies the temptation, Palpatine reveals himself in that exact same portal. I think it was all a trick, and there was never a chance to save Kanan. What I'm trying to say is that, yes, I think the world between worlds offers the ability of time travel. I think a character could step into one portal at one time and step out of another way in the past or far into the future. But as far as time travel goes, we are following Terminator rules, not Back to the Future rules. In Back to the Future, Marty goes back in time and inadvertently changes the lives of his parents for the better. I don't think the world between worlds can do that. But in Terminator, Kyle Reese goes back in time to save the mother of John Connor and then falls in love with her and winds up becoming John's father. So him going back in time didn't change the future, it was always meant to happen that way. But then again, there is a Terminator movie where John Connor is killed and the future is altered, so those aren't the best examples of what I'm trying to say, but time travel is always a little bit messy and hard to wrap your head around, and is my nose bleeding? I love the world between worlds, but I admit I'm a little nervous for the next episode of Ahsoka because my understanding of how it works might completely change. We might learn something new that changes the rules I just laid out. If that happens, it's fine, I'll deal with it, but I personally think it would be a mistake to introduce heavy time travel or a multiverse or something into the Star Wars universe, and fans have latched onto that in the past. Again, I understand why. If that's something you want, that's cool. It's just not what I'm hoping for. As far as Ahsoka goes, I think what it means for the series is twofold. For the plot, I think it could provide our hero with a way to reach the galaxy where Thrawn and Ezra are. The villains have probably reached it through their technology and believe they cannot be followed, but Ahsoka could get there mystically through a portal. Of course, she's also going to go on an emotional journey with Anakin. What kind? I'm not sure right now. Is he a Force ghost? Is that a living, breathing Anakin from the past? Is it some kind of trick of the Force? Why did the Imperial March play at the end of the episode? There are a ton of questions and several possibilities. The book Secrets of the Sith has a quote from Darth Sidious who says, "This mystical realm connects all of time and space, creating a conduit between the living and the dead. Those who control this plane would possess mastery over all of existence, but gaining access has proved an unexpected challenge." So maybe that is Anakin from beyond the grave within this conduit between the living and the dead. But since the world between worlds is part of the Force, he could manifest more fully. Or maybe it's Anakin from the past who was led to this realm by someone or something. A convor named Morai helped Ezra out in Star Wars Rebels. That being is basically an avatar for a powerful Force god named the Daughter, whose life force resides within Ahsoka, and we've seen her in The Mandalorian already. So maybe Morai led Anakin to the world between worlds back during the Clone Wars to help her out. I kinda love that idea because if we're following the rules of time as I understand them, Ahsoka is going to have this knowledge of Anakin's fall, but she will be unable or unwilling to warn him. Even if she tries, I think something will have to intervene to keep him on the path of his destiny. It's an intensely tragic idea. But then I think about how Darth Vader definitely thought she was dead in Star Wars Rebels, and it would be kind of weird if he knew he had a mystical conversation with an older Ahsoka sometime in his past, and oh no, my nose is bleeding again. See? This is why I'm nervous. I think the world between worlds is such a cool place, but it needs to be used sparingly. It's already difficult to explain, and it can easily become messy in the Star Wars universe, but its original appearance was absolutely flawless in my opinion. It's one of my favorite Star Wars stories, so I am optimistic Dave Filoni and team can pull it off again. I am preparing myself for some new revelations though. Whether or not they land for me remains to be seen, but Henry Gilroy, one of the writers of Star Wars Rebels and the Clone Wars, had an interesting quote about the world between worlds. He said, "I always got the sense that if somebody else had gone into that world between worlds, they would have experienced something completely different. They would have heard different voices echoing. The portals would have been different. So it's all about what you bring into it and what your experiences are and what your connections are." He said that at a Dragon Con panel back in 2018. I was there for that panel, and it definitely seems like his own conjecture. He didn't say that's how he and Dave Filoni and the other writers decided. It definitely worked forever, but I think it makes sense. It's similar to the Dark Side Cave on Dagobah, where you are going to experience exactly what you need to face. Ezra just happened to find the portal to Malachor where he could save Ahsoka, who was the person who happened to be able to teach him the exact lesson he needed to learn. The Force works in mysterious ways, and it might work completely differently for Ahsoka. So the question is, what is it that Ahsoka needs to face and learn? I think Episode 5 will be a big turning point for her character. People have been pointing out since she appeared in The Mandalorian that she seems different from what we're used to in the Clone Wars. She has been through a lot. The Jedi turned their backs on her. She barely survived Order 66. She thought Anakin died. Then she found out he was Darth Vader. She saw what his attachments turned him into, so she has completely avoided them ever since. She put up walls, and she hasn't put down any roots. She has nowhere to call home except her ship. I think her conversation with Anakin, whether he is alive from the past, or a Force ghost, or just a vision, whatever her experience winds up being with her former master, I think she will realize that her lack of connection can cause problems just as easily as Anakin's over-attachment. They both went to the extremes when it came to attachment, and it resulted in both of them losing that balance the Jedi seek. I still have so many questions about what's happening and how Ahsoka even got there. It does not surprise me that there is a portal on Cetos, but I would like to know how she just happened to fall into it. All that stuff can wait until the next episode, though. Despite my anxiety, I am excited to see the world between worlds again. Hopefully I explained it well, or maybe I made it even more confusing with all my time travel talk. I honestly don't know. Let me know how much worse I made it in the comments. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel for all our Ahsoka coverage, follow us on our socials, and check out our Patreon page for video reactions and audio commentaries for every episode. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.